Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson, where us and about 900 other friendos gathered to watch a pretty shocking end to the WWE pay-per-view day one, where Brock Lesnar pinned the current champion Big E for that WWE title. Of course, this comes off of news earlier in the day. Roman Reigns tested positive, unfortunately, for COVID, and so Brock was inserted into Seth Rollins' match against Big E, which Kevin Owens had been inserted into, and Bobby Lashley had been inserted into as well. We're going to talk about all this in a second. We should probably mention really quick that I think on Monday we're going to talk about the Tony Khan Twitter thing from day 365 of 2021, because there's a lot to digest there. But this is, we're definitely going to get to it on Monday. And it's kind of going to be kind of interesting to see if between now and then he says anything else, or is anything else to add to this situation. Seems like it might be kind of a continuing, evolving thing. So we're going to wait for Monday to give our thoughts about that. But by no means are we avoiding it. We're going to talk about it. But this is, honestly, we were going to wait till Monday to do this too. And I told Larson today at the head of our watch along, if something stupid or crazy happens, like, I don't know, Brock wins the title, then I'll do the review tonight.
Yeah.
So we're doing the review tonight.
Yeah, Brock with the title. Surprising. I know. I mean, I guess whenever Brock's in a championship match, you can't discount the idea that he's going to walk out with that title. And so there's a lot to unpack with just that finish of that one match. Like, was Brock going to beat Roman? Was Big E going to lose his match? And they thought, well, those two things were going to happen anyways. Let's just do this and maybe set up something, a title for title thing at WrestleMania. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm bummed out that Big E lost, and I'm doubly bummed out that he ate the pin. I kind of felt like you have someone else eat that pin. And then down the line, it protects Big E. And down the line, if you want to revisit Big E versus Brock, seemingly they're setting up Lashley versus Brock for either Rumble or at Mania.
Yeah.
You know, protect Big E, you know, because now he had, about 2.5 month, 3 month title reign.
Yeah. That
never really felt like it had an opportunity to really get going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bummer.
Yeah. You know, dude, we've talked about this before. You can always sort of tell there are certain signifiers when it comes to how serious WWE will consider somebody in their title reigns. Typically somebody will get a bit of a rebrand. They'll get, it's funny because a video I did on Wrestle Juice, I don't know, last week, I looked at, for example, Bobby Lashley. I don't know if you remember this. At WrestleMania 35, he lost to Aleister Black. He was basically, I'm not going to say buried, of course, but it was unimpressive. And then they realized, hey, we can do something with this guy. They put him with MVP. They gave him the entire Hurt Business. They had him go on an immense winning run. They had him do that U.S. title thing with Apollo Crews. He won the U.S. title, was a dominant U.S. champion. And then they basically refreshened him. They gave him a fresh coat of paint, a win streak.
Yeah.
You can tell they were investing in him.
Yeah.
And I do think that Bobby Lashley is one of the better championship reigns we've had in recent history. That's not really saying a whole lot because there's been a lot of bad championship reigns, but they showed him as a dominant champion.
Yeah.
Big E did not get any of that. He did not get the benefit of any of that. He got a cash in, which typically is reserved for heels. A cash in on the tail end of Bobby Lashley being in a match. His only real signature wins came against Bobby Lashley, which is sort of to be expected, but also
Kevin Owens.
Drew McIntyre, who is already on his way out.
Yeah.
Who is already on his way out. So it really was not surprising. He didn't really get that sort of reset. He didn't get he got a new theme song, but with so many memorable title reigns, I think like Triple H when he ditched DX became the Game, that kind of stuff. John Cena, he started doing the Doctor of Thugonomics stuff, and then he even got another reset when he became sort of the Cena that we know today. Mm-hmm. All the memorable title reigns sort of get that reset where the audience understands, oh, this is why they're on another level. Biggie never got that. And it's not shocking that this would happen, and it's really sad, and I sadly don't think that there's going to be any second opportunity for him. It's a bummer, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, after Brock won, they focused on a stare down between Brock and Lashley, so that's the next feud for both of them. Mm-hmm. They were not shy about really focusing on that. I guess the circumstances around Big E cashing in, lends to your point about how he didn't get that kind of rebrand. He was on SmackDown. He won the briefcase, and seemingly it was a rushed decision to have him show up on Raw to cash in.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Even they were even kind of teasing a thing between New Day and Bloodline, and they just didn't do it. Yeah. Whether that was a decision to try to get a rating up, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's a bummer because we've been fans of Big E here at Going In Raw for a number of years. Wanting him to get a really good championship run, and maybe it'll happen in the future. I was kind of hoping it would happen now. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem that way. I guess from a business perspective, you can have Brock on one show, Raw, Roman on the other show, SmackDown. Your two marquee names, or two of your three, including Becky. I guess from a business perspective, they probably think they need to do that, especially with Raw ratings not being very good right now. I think they got about 1.5 million this week.
Yeah. Quick correction also, sorry. Lashley Aleister Black was at 36. Lashley Drew was at 37, and Lashley lost to Finn Balor at 35.
Yeah.
Thank you for whoever in the chat. Dope Freddy, thank you very much for pointing that out. Yeah, I mean, that's the flip side of it, isn't it? USA is paying $1 billion. NBC Universal is paying like $1 billion for Raw. Mm-hmm. There's no way they should have a B-level champion. And it's nothing on Big E at all. It's strictly this is a scripted form of entertainment. It is how he is booked. They had him struggling against Austin Theory.
Yeah.
They had him lose clean against Roman Reigns. If I'm the head of USA, I'm like, wait a second. Why don't you wonk that finish? We're paying $1 billion, and on our network, on our cable channel, you don't have your top champion. They've got Becky Lynch. Bianca Belair was a massively over. She still is.
Yeah.
A massively over babyface. Becky Lynch comes in. Why don't you just split their brands? You have two big stars. Why don't you just put them on different brands?
I know.
And then you've got these huge stars. This makes all the sense in the world if you're USA, because Brock and Roman are on the same level. You have Brock anchoring Raw. You've got Roman anchoring SmackDown. If Brock's going to be there, if he's going to be present, then do that. I don't know. Maybe it's funny because you look at when you watch Raw, you watch SmackDown, whatever, you sort of get a sense of who's peaking with the head, with Vince, right?
Yeah.
And this, I'll always take it back, and I know it's because it was such a seminal Going In Raw moment when I chose Otis to win Money in the Bank, because he was peaking with Vince McMahon. As ridiculous,
right time, I know.
As ridiculous of a character as Otis was at the time, I was like, man, this guy's everywhere. He's everywhere, and AJ makes so much more sense. But Otis was everywhere, and he was peaking. He was main eventing.
I know.
Otis was.
I know consistently before and after Money in the Bank. Yeah.
And I wonder if, given that we've seen those video packages with Lashley, given that he did have he brought Goldberg to a really fun match at Crown Royal. He's been on a bit of a dominant streak. Maybe Vince is like, hey, I want to do Lashley Brock. Brock's not going to be around for a long time. We kind of figure that anyways. What if the plan is Lashley gets that title off of Brock? I don't know, because I don't know. How do you do Brock Roman now?
I mean, it's got to be title for title.
At WrestleMania?
Yeah.
You think they do that?
I don't know if they'll do that, but that's...
Could you... Brock versus Roman at WrestleMania, title for title, and Roman's headlining both shows? I could see that. If they think Roman is the main reason why SmackDown does so much better than Raw, which it kind of does. Like some weeks it was like 600,000-700,000 more.
Yeah, I know. Well, you could, I mean, I guess it's possible to kind of have your cake and eat it too. You can have Brock versus Lashley on night one, and they could do a thing, well, whoever wins that match gets Roman at the main event of night two. Mm-hmm. And set it up that way, or you can do Lashley versus Brock at the Rumble. That kind of seems the based on how intently they were focusing on the two of them at the close of the show. That seems to be the match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, pretty surprising outcome. I was not expecting that.
So somebody here in our Twitch chat mentioned something about a deleted Fox tweet. Mm-hmm. What is that? Have you seen anything about that?
I've seen people here talk about Jorge D mentioned it. I'm trying to find it on if there's like anybody's got a screen grab on Twitter or anything, so I can actually see it, and I can't find it yet. But apparently it was Fox on WWE. Again, we haven't. Oh, Macho T rated. Thank you so much, Macho T.
Thank you, Macho T.
Haven't seen a screen grab, so
best voice.
So
take it with a grain of salt, huh?
That they WWE on Fox said Big E won the main event.
Yeah. And Brock, I think the idea was Brock had won the. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, if that would not shock me at all. If that was the plan, if Big E was set to win and Brock was set to win, I think that's what they said. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing about WWE. For better or worse, you get this unpredictable shit sometimes because stuff it domino effects. Roman's down. Hey, how do we make a big splash?
Jorge D says the screen grab is on Squared Circle on Reddit.
Ah, okay.
So I mean, before we get to the match by match, there's another thing too. So for the longest time we said whoever lost the Roman Brock match tonight was probably gonna win the Rumble. Now they're both walking out. Well, Brock's walking out, WWE champion. Roman's still Universal champion.
Yeah,
obviously it doesn't seem like. Thank you, White Brown. You sent the pick. Thank you. Doesn't seem like either of them are probably gonna win the Rumble. So. The field for that is seemingly wide open at this juncture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Huh. It's interesting because it's got Brock's picture and yet says Big E won, even though Lesnar isn't listed amongst the competitors in the match.
Well, something to talk about on Monday, I guess. What could have been, what would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whole stare down between Brock and Lashley. I mean, I would suspect that would be, unless I'd love to think that Big E's going to get a rematch before, at the Royal Rumble. At least give him a pay-per-view loss if you're going to have him give him a loss. Something tells me that just happened on Raw, though. So I don't know. I thought it was the show itself was sort of up and down. It wasn't. There was some decent wrestling on it.
Yeah, there's some good matches. I didn't think it was a poor show.
No, I didn't think it was bad.
I mean, apart from Madcap Moss versus Drew McIntyre, which probably should have been on the kickoff, if not on the episode of SmackDown. I thought all the matches were pretty solid. Some of them were pretty good.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They, I mean, there's only 6. Well, there's only 7 of them, including the opener, which was a curiosity. We could just sort of dive into it,
sure,
and hit the beats as we go along. Sheamus was supposed to be really Sheamus and Ridge Holland, and that's how it started out. Versus Cesaro and Ricochet in tag team action. Ridge Holland pretty early in the match got hit with a standing was it a moonsault?
I think it was a shooting star press. Maybe it was a moonsault from Cesaro was kind of helping Ricochet do one in the ring. And then upon landing, Ricochet basically one of his feet landed on Ridge's face.
Yeah.
And you could see
flush.
They replayed it several times in slow-mo. And you could see the boot, the standing 450. Okay. The boot go right up against his mouth, the nose. And then Ricochet kind of gets his balance under him, still kind of stepping on Ridge's face. Yeah. And so he was busted open. And then he rolled it. Eventually he gets, he goes to his corner. Sheamus tags in. He gets treated by trainers. They take him backstage and they commentary announces he had a broken nose. He's not returning to the match. And so you can tell they kind of had to call the rest of the match on the fly.
Right, yeah.
And Sheamus handled the business because I'm guessing Sheamus and Ridge were booked to win initially. He hits Ricochet with an air raid crash on the floor and then hits Cesaro with a bro kick in the ring to get the win.
I appreciate that they stuck to the plan. And this just looked like an amazing win for Sheamus. He just wiped the floor with these two dudes. Oh, man. I love, honestly, probably my biggest turnaround for wrestlers that I used to just not really care at all about, and the guys that I love right now, Sheamus. Over the past 2 years, man, this dude has been putting banger after banger after banger.
Yeah.
It's been really good stuff. Yeah, so anyways, after that, we had a stellar Usos versus New Day
The history
match.
these two teams have in putting on great matches. This one didn't disappoint.
Oh, man. Absolutely. No, this was absolutely great stuff. And we got to see a 3D finish.
Yeah.
This was awesome. The Usos pulled out a 3D to win over the New Day on Kofi. But man, the New Day's gear was just awesome. It was beautiful.
Kofi's pants were amazing.
I wonder what I don't know if there was any. Whenever I see their shit, like sometimes they make it really obvious. Like when they did, didn't they do like Thundercats gear before or something like that?
I think so. They've done Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat was obvious.
The Basquiat gear they had was amazing.
That was amazing.
Schoolhouse Rock stuff they had was awesome.
That was great. Yeah. Sometimes they do stuff and I'm like, I know what that is. Yeah. They do He-Man. Yeah, they did He-Man.
Yeah. Kofi had Skeletor
and it's on the tip
gear,
of my tongue. But I'm curious if anybody knows if this was motivated
Tekken.
by anything.
People are saying Tekken.
Oh, it was Tekken. Okay. I was not a big Tekken guy growing up. Didn't really do the fighting games all that much. I would just sit there and like, meh.
Yeah, mash buttons. That's all I really did. But yeah, this match was great. We could list a bunch of moves, but really just watch it because it's awesome. Usos versus New Day never disappoints. Fantastic bout, and as you mentioned, Usos hit Kofi with a 3D to get the win. After that, we had a Big E interview. He talks about Brock being added to the WWE title match, and he says he's reminded of the mantra of Ellis Island, but instead, tonight is bring me your Bobby, your Kevin, your Seth, your Beast. You can line them up and I'll knock them down. Tonight won't be easy. I'll walk through fire, but somehow I'll find a way to leave here WWE champion.
You know, at least he lost in a 5-way to Brock Lesnar and not, 8 seconds against Brock Lesnar? What was it? It was like 8 seconds, something like that?
It was 8, yeah, I believe.
Yeah. After that, Randy Orton's best friends, Migos, Atlanta Zone, had an interview. They're really happy to be there. They've been growing up on WWE.
Yeah.
It's great. Love it.
We'd see him again later, too.
We would. After that, we had a farts 9 minutes and 40-odd seconds. Madcap Moss
About 9
versus
minutes too
Drew
long.
McIntyre. About 9 minutes too long.
I mean, you could say 92.
Yeah. It was too long. It was too long.
But they cut Roman versus Brock. I guess they had to fill up some time, so they had this match go more than 9 minutes, even though it shouldn't have.
You know, I do appreciate Madcap Moss is a guy who I honestly thought it's at one point he was released. When they showed him back up Corbin, I was like, they brought him back? But he hadn't been really, because they released like a ton of people. And no, he's just been biding his time. He always looks great. He probably has a terrific work ethic. He's been through a lot of shit in WWE. I'm not a fan of what they're doing with him, but the man is on TV. He's getting paid, and he's out there putting in good work. This is a solid match.
Yeah.
He's a good wrestler. He's a good worker.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that
Yeah.
the human,
Yes.
human is out there in a pay-per-view match. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for his family.
Nothing we say about the length of this match is a knock against Riddick Moss.
Could have been a squash.
I have enjoyed his work since his days in NXT. I remember we went to a house show here in Sacramento, and before the main event, he dropped a really funny promo. And ever since then, that night, he really won me over. That spot where he's charging Drew evades, and he more or less ran full speed, shoulder first, to the second turnbuckle. I know that thing's padded. It ain't much of a pad.
Yeah,
he was running full speed.
Absolutely.
That's commitment to your craft.
He did well. And Drew McIntyre, of course, got the win here with the Claymore. But Madcap put in a spirited effort.
Indeed.
And hopefully that bodes well for his future. Hopefully they like what he's doing, and hopefully they get him out of this god-awful gimmick. But it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Let's see here. Jorge says, oh yeah, because they wrote. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Thank you, Jorge.
I'll keep this pulled up here when we get to that. To that segment, because that happens pretty quickly. After that, we got after Drew won with the Claymore. Kevin Owens had to interview. Says it's a travesty that Brock was added to the match. It shouldn't have happened. He says originally it was me and Seth versus Big E. Then Lashley stuck his nose in our business. But with Brock in it, now it's even worse. He says now it's not about him and Seth beating people up and then fighting it between themselves for the title. It's about me taking it to Brock and avenging my best friend, my soulmate on SmackDown, Sami Zayn. And it says, but now let's come up with a new plan. He says, I got to go talk to Seth. And he storms off.
Mm-hmm. Yep. After that, we had Street Profits versus RK Bro. Another really, really fun match. RK Bro, of course, they get out there. They wave out Migos, Randy Orton's best friend since 2014.
Yes, that's my understanding too, yes.
To join them at ringside. They ended up being the difference maker. Also, the wonderful chemistry between RK Bro. The finish of this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It showed Riddle throwing a pop-up of Montez for Randy Orton to hit the RKO on the pop-up. And before Orton goes for the pin, they did a little hand slap there.
Yeah.
A little smile to each other, appreciation.
Yeah.
Some bromance there. And Orton picked up the pin. But goddamn, this is a fun match.
It is a fun match. And in a lot of ways, it followed the template laid by most RK Bro matches, which is Riddle gets beat up a bunch.
Yes.
He gets the tag to Orton. He goes on a run. There's some back and forth. RKO. That's kind of been the template by and large for their matches. But it seemed I like the finish was great, and then the little hand slap at before the pin. You could tell now they're really getting on the same page. It seems like
you want to get it till it's like at its best. And I don't know how to judge that with this, but they are so in the thick of that bromance, and people love it. Do you pull the trigger now, or do you wait another month?
Well, it depends if you want their match to be at Mania or you want to wait till SummerSlam.
Oh, man, biggest stage, dude.
You think so, but what you could do, hear me out, Steve.
Okay.
You have the 101 match, or at least blow off at SummerSlam. Orton goes over. Orton walks into Mania 39, champ. Riddle wins the Rumble. He beats Orton for the belt at WrestleMania.
Ooh.
You want to do long?
What if their split happens at Mania?
Long form storytelling. Yeah, they lose the titles at Mania. Yeah.
You want to drag everybody down? Have them split up at Mania? That'd be a bummer. Let's talk about somebody else in this match. Montez Ford, I've noticed lately, speaking of a bit of a difference of look, growing the beard out, growing the hair out a little bit. Looks like $1 million. I wonder if he's foreshadowing a turn this guy. Give him a singles run,
1,000%.
man. But have him turn heel.
Massive
He was
star.
in there dancing.
Yeah.
He tagged in. He was Dan. Orton said, "Are you done?" And then he ends up eating the pin. Drop that dead weight Dawkins.
I like Dawkins.
Go on a run.
I like Dawkins.
Me too, but there's got to be. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
Oof.
I finished that. That was the key line in the Watchmen show. I finally finished it this weekend. Holy shit.
Good show.
Oh, my God. That last bit. Oh, man. I was crying. I was bawling like a little baby. A little tiny baby. Anyways, after that, we had a Drew McIntyre interview where Drew was really putting over Madcap, called him one tough son of a bitch. saying, me and Corbin go way back. He was one of his henchmen before. He says he can really handle himself. Then, bang!
Attacked.
Corbin comes in. Madcap comes in. No selling that Claymore. Beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre. Get him to the ground. They put a chair around his head. And then Corbin gets this big piece of metal flotsam, part of the set, and completely annihilates the chair and Drew's neck.
Yes,
in the process.
We have breaking news here from Jorge D via WWE Twitter. Sorry, breaking news from WWE's Twitter via Jorge D. An injury update on Drew McIntyre. Cervical neck strain with severe contusions.
Ouch.
It continues here. Upon further evaluation by medical staff, you will have a follow-up with an orthopedic cervical specialist.
Oh, wow. Ooh, I've got a vacation lined up.
They're building up heat for this Drew McIntyre Baron Corbin feud.
Oh, Lordy B. That match is there, whatever blow-off match they have is going to go over in 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
It's Baron, probably. It probably will. It probably will.
So?
Yeah, probably. After that, we had a Brock Lesnar interview. He does Paul Heyman's introduction to him, but he does it. There's no Paul Heyman there. He does it.
He does it himself.
And he says, I do what I want to do. I'm a free agent thanks to my advocate, Paul Heyman. He says, so tonight I'm going to go to the ring. Sorry, I'm going to go to the ring and I'm going to walk out WWE champion. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
He's terrifying. Even when he's being charming, he's terrifying. He looks in the camera and it's like that time we were at the
Never
2K
forget that.
event.
Never forget that.
Right?
He's in his own little red carpet over there with Heyman. We're on the main red carpet.
There was like 100 people between us and him.
Oh, more than that. I feel like there was 100 people just around him. And I remember I stand on my tiptoes to see what's going on over there. And I feel like he made eye contact with me. And I just sunk back down. I was scared.
We should have run. We should have got out of that place, man. Should have been like, fuck this, we're out of here. But no, we had to do our video.
He has a terrifying presence, indeed. Intimidating presence.
Oh, absolutely. Terrifying. After that, we had Miz versus Edge. Oh, man. It was like they were doing this on a trampoline. This was the safest match. And I'd sort of called this at the beginning because we're like, why is Edge starting a feud with Miz or vice versa? And one of us speculated, Miz is known to be
a very safe worker.
I don't want to call him soft, but just his style of matches, they're not the most physically demanding matches in the world. It's why he still literally looks the same as he did 15 years ago.
That's why he missed some time for the first time in his career when he tore his ACL, like 15 years into his career.
Because these are just like the least physical matches. Not that I'd ever want to put myself through one, but comparatively speaking,
yes.
I just watched that GCW show last night when Akira was eating glass, light tubes. That was horrible. Did you see that GIF?
Yeah.
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I wouldn't do that.
Hey, by the way, I got us a couple of second row seats to Prestige Wrestling here in Sacramento.
Very exciting.
So if y'all are in the NorCal area, come out to Sacramento's, the Colonial
Theater, yeah.
For Prestige. Leo Rush is going to be there, the man of the hour.
Yeah, that's exciting. Should be fun. It should be fun, yeah.
Mothman. Yeah.
I did call the finish this match. I said that Maurice was going to get involved and Beth Phoenix was going to come out to ensure that Edge wins. And sure enough, that's what happened.
Yeah, dude. They buried the shit out of that
skull-crushing finale. I know.
Skull-crushing finale, man.
Yeah, because
oh my goodness,
Edge is going for a spear, and then Miz leapfrogs it, and so Edge runs into the corner, and then Maurice hits Edge.
Yeah,
and then he turns around right into a skull-crushing finale, kicks at it too.
It's as if the skull-crushing finale actually gives you power.
It powers you up, seemingly.
Like instead of your little HUD going down, it goes up into like yellow territory instead of being in red territory.
Remember in the THQ N64 games, you're on the verge of a special and you start kind of bouncing and turning red.
Yeah,
that's what it was doing.
It was great. It was the best feeling ever.
It was great. So Maurice interfered a couple times. One time Edge had Miz in the deal and she put Miz's foot on the ropes. But after that particular spot with the skull-crushing finale, you look in the crowd and people are standing up. And they cut to the ramp, and Beth Phoenix is standing there, and she's fuming. She's mad, she's not doing anything. She's just standing there.
Baring her teeth.
And then finally they hit her music, and she makes her way to the ring. So there's
the Vampiro effect.
Whoever was running production of the truck was a little late hitting her music.
It's the Vampiro effect.
Yeah. So she kind of chases Maurice around the ring and then up the ramp. And the Miz is not paying attention to Edge at all. He's like watching this. And speaking of charging up, Edge is staying in that corner, just charging up that finish as much as
charge
possible.
finisher.
He is just
He's
charging
got
it
the
up.
charge finisher, yeah.
He hits a spear on Miz to get the win. We're totally going to get Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice probably at the Rumble.
I'm looking forward to
that should be
that.
fun.
Hey, Maurice and Beth are both really good, and I like the dynamic here. This is actually going to be really fun, and more importantly, very safe. Speaking of people in the crowd, Maggie, Bex, and the man turn were all in the crowd tonight at day one, and Maggie was so kind that she put up, fully in view of the cameras, lacegems.com sign, and Lacey has gotten 2 orders on her jewelry website. So thank you, Maggie, very
That's
much
so
for
awesome.
that. Lacegems.com, and it seems like they had a really fun time. She says here in the chat, about to drive home, but yay, Becky won. Also, only one women's match on the entire card. Boo. Anywho, bye, friendos. Well, glad you had a good time, Maggie, and thanks again. After that, we had a Bob Lashley interview. Kevin's asking a question. MVP interrupts it. Says Brock is a once-in-a-lifetime athlete, and he understands the rest of the men in this match are trembling with fear, but Lashley isn't. He's a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. He's the yin to Brock's yang. He welcomes the addition of Brock to the match because when he regains a title, he can say he defeated Brock as well. When he wins, it won't just be the first day of 2022. It'll be the resumption of the almighty era. And Lashley says, I can't wait to feel Brock tap out to the Hurt Lock.
Yeah. Then we got Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch. This match was a lot of fun. It had some good creative spots in it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Early on, Liv was aggressive, like immediately hitting Becky with code breakers there out of the ring. She's slamming her head into the table. And in some respects, this match, not to the same degree, but it reminded me of certain story beats of Ciampa and Braun Breaker, where anytime Becky was in trouble, she'd roll out of the ring and try to lure Liv into some sort of situation that would allow Becky to get the upper hand again. Playing off the idea that Becky has a wealth of experience, whereas relatively speaking, Liv, compared to Becky, doesn't have the same experience level. Eventually, so there's a spot where there's it. So Liv hits like an arm wringer off the top, puts Becky into the rings of Saturn. Becky leans back to roll her up. Liv kicks out, and then Becky's like holding on to the ropes, not letting go, and Liv is trying to pull her off. And the ref eventually breaks it up, so Becky's leaning against the ropes. Liv goes for her finish. Becky blocks that and hits a manhandle slam to get the win.
It looked like also Becky was trying to reach her feet to the ropes and was just like half a foot.
Yeah, about 6 inches.
Too far away.
Yeah.
And but I wonder if the plan, just to maybe protect Liv a little bit more and to further advance the story of Becky having to cheat, making those little cheats to win.
Yeah.
If that was supposed to be the plan, certainly it seemed like she was reaching for it, but I think she realized, this is too far away. I just have to, deal with it. So yeah, good showing for Liv.
Yeah, it really was. It was.
It's kind of weird though. Like some people here in chat are reminding me here. The ref for this match was counting slow. It was like the face ref in AAA, man. These counts were like.
Yeah. Oh, that sunset flip powerbomb spot that Liv did was awesome.
That was sick.
That was
awesome. Rad. That was really cool. Yeah. No, this is a fun match. I hope Liv continues to progress in the ring because she's a lot of fun.
Yeah, she is. After that, we had a Seth Rollins interview. He says tonight was supposed to be a 1-on-1 match for him. Then Kevin Owens lied his way in. Then Bobby Lashley bullied his way into the match. And now he's Brocked his way into the match.
Wow.
So what am I going to do? Can't divulge my tactics, but the 4 other men in this match have something in common that gives me the advantage. They're not me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go out there and do what I do better than anyone on the planet, stomp heads and win.
This was a fun promo. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
He was very over the top.
He was.
After that, they played Johnny Knoxville's Instagram video where he declared for the Rumble. So I'm assuming the Jackass movie's coming out sometime later this month, I would assume.
It would seem to be the case.
As a tie-in?
Seem to be the case, yes.
It's one thing when these dudes are in their 20s. He's in his late 40s now, probably.
Sounds about right.
I don't want to see him do stuff anymore. I don't even know if I want to see this early February. Okay, it comes out in early February. I don't know. Are you looking forward to this Jackass movie? It's missing too many people. Like, rest in peace, Ryan Dunn, man. He was my favorite.
Yeah.
He was absolutely my favorite.
Yeah.
Bam has his own set of problems. He ain't in the movie. I like the Pontius is in it. I like Pontius a lot.
Yeah, but if it's they're getting up there in years. Again, in your 20s, your body can handle these stunts and recover from these stunts quicker than they can now. Plus, there's years of accumulated damage from said stunts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming they're
Knoxville's 50.
Oh, wow. So I'm assuming they're not going to put a bunch of stuff in the movie where these guys get like seriously injured.
They were in the hospital like 2 days after they started filming.
That's true. So like I'll be sitting there watching this movie. Is like, is that the stunt that put them in the hospital? Is that the stunt that put them in the hospital?
I know. It's like it's just like I said, it's like watching a GCW pay-per-view. Like, oh, why are they doing this? Why is he eating glass?
But instead of like Akira or Ninja Mac, it's all Jeff Jarrett.
Why? Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Jeff Jarrett. I gotta watch that show. I think I bought the whole bundle.
Oh.
I'll send you my login if you can.
Yeah, the whole card is just the whole cast is just Jeff Jarrett.
Every time I turn on a GCW show, Shane Mercer's making his entrance. I don't know what it is with me and Shane Mercer. That dude is awesome. That dude has got crazy strength. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Shane Mercer. Mm-hmm. Anyways, after that, we had our main event.
It's fun.
Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Big E, Brock Lesnar.
It's one of those matches where as soon as the bell rang, it was chaos and destruction, and it didn't let up until the match ended.
Oh, man. Dude, this was nuts. This was, of course, we got early German suplexes to, like, everybody. Well, like Seth and Kevin, while Big E and Lashley, like, they didn't even do the split screen thing, but those dudes were doing their own thing out there. They come in, start eating a bunch of stuff. Big E clotheslines Brock out of the ring. Lashley goes out, rams Big E into the ring post, spears Brock through the barricade. Is like the first big, OMG moment, if you will. He hit Y and triangle or whatever it is.
Yeah. And then some action happens back in the ring again. Eventually, Brock stumbles back. Seth hits up from the barricade, still on the floor though. Seth hits him with a suicide dive, and it holds him down so Owens can hit him with a frog splash. And then Owens and Seth, they get the ring steps. They hit Lashley and Brock with them. They clear off the announce table. They look to suplex Lashley through it. However, Lashley fights them off. Instead, Big E hits an Uranagi on Lashley through the table. Kevin Owens hits Big E with a super kick, and then Seth and Kevin Owens hit Brock with a DDT on the ring steps. Back in the ring, more action. Seth is looking for a stomp on Big E. Brock catches him, starts doling out F5s. So Seth gets one. Big E gets one. Owens is about to get one. He tries to reverse it into a stunner. No, he gets an F5 too, but as soon as Brock gets up from that, Lashley hits him with the spear, gets a 2, and then sinks in the hurt lock on Brock, and that was great. Brock was selling the hell out of it.
Oh, he was selling it big time. His face is all purple. And
yeah,
everything.
It was great. And so Big E breaks that up. He hits Lashley with a big ending. He's looking to hit one on Brock. Instead, Brock escapes, hits one F5, just one F5 to get the win.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. Oof. Oh, you put the stinker on it there. One F5.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Muted Mayday here in our Twitch chat mentions, and I want to mention this really quick. I'm glad there wasn't any tension between Seth and Kevin Owens. Now that WWE title is locked up, because what did I say before all this? They have multiple sort of A- superstars. They all could grab at that title. Now they got an A+ guy with Brock Lesnar. That ain't going nowhere anytime soon, unless it's maybe to Bob Lashley, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Seth and Kevin Owens can now enter the tag division, and maybe we get them versus RK Bro.
I know, imagine they're the ones that lead to the breakup of RK Bro.
Ooh,
that's decent stuff.
That's a hot match right there, man.
That's decent stuff there.
That's really good stuff right there. Yeah, they start going on a tear up the tag ranks.
Yeah. People in chat are making the point that Brock did hit Big E with an F5 earlier. The idea is several matches has taken Brock more than one F5 to win at the finish. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, gotcha. White Brownie says Kevin Owens post-match interview teased that he wants to go after the tag titles with Seth.
Oh.
That's going to be a hell of a feud.
Good. That'd be good. Imagine if they're together through next draft and Sammy gets drafted to Raw.
Oh, man. Oh, wow.
Look at this. We're booking.
That's good stuff.
We're booking this stuff. We're booking it
We
well.
book Raw. Let's bring it back. Let's bring back We Book Raw.
Yeah, let's do that.
Gaming with Cage. We'll take a couple questions. If you guys want to highlight some messages, we'll take some questions. Gaming with Cage says, how will the Usos versus New Day feud be remembered 30 years from now? Are they this generation's version of the Von Erichs versus the Fabulous Freebirds? I think this is absolutely 100%. I don't think I can't think of like a different. It's going to be, in terms of tag rivalries, it's going to be an all-time.
Yeah.
An all-time.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, over the great stuff between Edge and Christian, the Hardys, Team 3D, the Dudley Boys. It's going to be better than all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be hugely remembered.
Yeah. Some of the moments, some of the matches they had are just absolutely spectacular. Yeah, it's going to be remembered exceptionally fondly.
Dang MQ here has the Jackass cast members' ages. Steve-O is 47. Wee Man is 48. Chris Pontius is 47. Danger Dave England is 52. And I'm sorry, no, Dave England's 52. And Danger Aaron is 45. So, yeah.
White Brownie says, so after tonight, is it clear for you guys who could possibly win the Rumble? No. I think it's a lot more open now, especially if Lashley versus Brock happens at the Rumble. It kind of feels like an open field.
I don't want them to do Big E that dirty. Give him the Rumble rematch. Let Lashley win the Rumble. Lashley Brock at Mania. Oh, God, how about you do this? Goldberg wins the Rumble. Brock Goldberg at Mania. That would be so bad. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Or how about this? Seth wins the Rumble. Brock and Roman do title unification. Seth enters that match because he won the Rumble.
Oh.
Hey. Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate all the people for hanging out with us during
Thank you so much.
the stream. Be safe out there, everybody. It's a new year. Let's try to make it a good one. And thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.